Like a soap opera, this moment will leave you gasping. Lao He's live on air, yet he receives a call complaining about high electricity bills. This has nothing to do with his show's theme, so he hung up. But soon, the call came again, with a threat to silence him. The caller claims they'll blow up the Hangzhou Bridge. This fired Lao He up. He hung up and went back to the show, only to hear a bombastic boom. He rushed to the window and couldn't quite believe his eyes there. The bridge had been blown up. Just when he thought it couldn't get crazier, the phone rang again. Talk about a plot twist. Lao He realized it was serious. He jotted down the number and dialed the cops, but hesitated for a moment. He decisively hung up and dashed to seize a colleague's phone. Definitely not the smartest move. He ordered everyone not to call the cops. Speaking of phones, I found second-hand ones to be gems. Like my Huawei Mate for 4,000 less. With that savings, I could buy a tablet. Now that's a deal. Xuanzhen is reliable. Every phone is thoroughly checked by engineers. You should definitely check it out. Lao He thinks he's the one and only host in cahoots with terrorists. This exclusive scoop is too good to pass up. But Lao He was after more than just exclusivity. He dashed to the restroom to negotiate with his boss. He demanded not only to cover the crisis, but also to be reinstated to prime time. Or else had to delete the recorded call. What an astute deal that truly is. The boss agreed to these ridiculous terms for the ratings boost, and Lao He confidently adjusted his tie. Watching other networks drag coverage, Lao He grinned, thinking he'd better cash in on this opportunity. Little did Lao He know, things were spiraling out of control. His boss burst in with a crew just as he prepped for the broadcast. Just as everything was set up, the terrorist call conveniently came through. But his first words left Lao He in shock. Lao He attempted to bluff his way through, but the terrorist wasn't buying it at all, leaving Lao He utterly speechless and at a loss for words. The terrorist started threatening payout or get another network involved. Seeing other networks connecting, Lao He panicked, buzzing around like a bee in a bottle. No matter how skilled he was, he couldn't rake in that cash until hopelessly sank, and then came the revelation. Turns out, not only Lao He hoped to strike it rich, the boss had quietly wired a fortune. The boss smirked. What's the harm in giving cash to a criminal? As the broadcast kicked off, the handsome Lao He appeared, drawing eyes like a magnet. Under his direction, the terrorists laid out their case for blowing up the bridge. Talk about a bridge injustice. They mentioned being sent to repair the bridge 2 years ago as a laborer, but safety measures were non-existent. The result? 3 colleagues tragically fell into the river. Heartbreaking. While the military was too busy with drills to help, they just added fuel to the fire. Hearing this, Lao He, who had recently been demoted, felt a twinge of empathy and decided to fix it. However, in the next instant, he was left completely dumbfounded upon hearing the absurd demand. He froze, thinking it was a joke, and suddenly his expression turned blank. The terrorist dropped the recording of him egging them on, and it got real awkward. Thankfully, the signal was cut in time. Lao He exhaled, but once out, he found the leader had swapped out the current host for a beautiful female anchor to proceed with a live connection. Turns out, the boss was worried Lao He's bad image would hurt ratings and ditched him. What a twist. The terrorist insisted on only talking to Lao He. Talk about a game of cat and mouse. The next moment, an explosion rocked the place, sending everyone into a frenzy, but Lao He saw a glimmer of hope. He seized the chance to dart back to the studio, swapping the mic for headphones while negotiating time with his boss. Such a clever bunny. While putting on the headphones, he warned the terrorists that annoying the network wouldn't end well, only for them to counter that the headphones contained a bomb too. At first, he didn't believe it, but upon hearing the countdown to his doom echoing in his ears, he instantly felt like he'd just plunged into an ice bath, filled with an unprecedented sense of terror, and told he was finally extremely frightened. Lao He asked why they targeted him, yet he was more concerned about the bomb's authenticity, rushing back to the studio. He hastily asked who put the headphones on him, but the boss was pushing him to go live. The terrorists warned him not to leave or tell anyone about the bomb, sending chills down his spine. They planned to leverage Lao He's fame to pressure the president over his deceased colleagues. What an outrageous scheme. Trying to find a way out, he stalled for time, but only had 10 minutes left to talk about nerve-wracking. The terrorists gave him just 10 minutes. If the president didn't issue an apology, they'd blow up the support pillars under the bridge. Lao He was officially freaking out. With his life and ex-wife's at stake and the threats coming in hot, Lao He could no longer remain calm. Reluctantly, he had to make the call to the president's office with a blunder. The terrorists, upon hearing his cooperation over the phone, unexpectedly revealed some heartfelt words. Could this truly be the inevitable cost?